The world runs, jumps and throws in Japan. It's sculls, strokes and rows here in Germany. So welcome to Munich, the capital of Bavaria, on rowing's last major stopover before Beijing. 35 years ago, this city was host to an Olympic Games of sporting spectacular and terrorist atrocity. Images of Olga Korbut, Mary Peters, who won her gold in the heptathlon in that very stadium over there, mixed indelibly with those of the Israeli athletes who lost their lives. 14 months ago, Munich was again the centre of sport's global village when Germany kicked off the Football World Cup against Costa Rica. And now there's a record entry here for these World Rowing Championships from 68 nations. What do you mean it's a cliché being in a beer cellar? One of the great things about rowing over the past couple of decades is it's been one of the prime benchmarks by which Britain's overall Olympic prospects have been judged. Some of the old guard are still there out on the water, but it's a combination of youth with experience that promises a new golden era for the sport. And I tell you something else as well. I bet you this place has seen a few boat races. The boat race above all others from a British perspective features these guys, the coxless four. Can they be world champions for a third year in a row? Then there's Northern Ireland's Alan Campbell. Can he be rowing's answer to Tyson Gay and be the fastest single sculler out on the water? Matthew Wells was a County 8 and 1500 metre athletics champion before he took up rowing. Now, along with Steve Rowbotham, can they beat the world in the double sculls? The best that Colin Smith and Matt Langridge have managed, at 5 world championships between them, is 5th. But now, united as a pair, they're live medal prospects. Welcome to Munich, not the sunny, blustery conditions we were promised, but just leaden skies, and it's chilly too, just 12 degrees. But given the quality of the racing that we've seen over the past week here, we should have 2 days of spectacular competition in the company of Steve Redgrave, who I know is looking forward to it all enormously. First things first, this was the scene of your first major championship 26 years ago. What about the conditions today?
Well, the conditions are good. What the forecast was very strong winds today, tailwind, should have been very, very fast conditions, maybe a little bit too rough for the smaller boats, but it's actually looking very good. The athletes are going to be really very happy apart from the cold weather.
Given the fact that we have had some great racing, it's a shame that all the headlines have been made by the Russian team being found guilty of more drug offences. What does that say about the problem within the sport as a whole, do you think, and particularly with reference to the Russians, who of course got banned last year as well?
No, there's sort of 4 cases in the last 12 months from the Russians is very disturbing. It's a sport that we really haven't had very many drug-taking issues. This one is quite weird in some ways. It's the method of that's been picked up, not the substances that they've been using, and it's just to aid recovery a little bit quicker by drip than actually using illegal substances. But it's still not good. There could be some more bad news to come, I think, from the press conference the other day.
OK, and let's just talk about these World Championships as an entity, because a lot of people who are watching us today may have watched our World Cup coverage throughout the summer and have seen British crews winning all over the place. But this is a different kettle of fish, isn't it? Because everybody's here.
Everybody is here, and it's the qualification for most of the boats of going to Beijing next year. So very, very important, right the way through to the B finals. Fortunately, most of our crews are in the A finals, and we've got 10 finalists, and 9 of them you can really consider of strong medal hopes.
OK, well, Steve obviously is head of the most famous of all our rowing dynasties, because when it comes to the coxless four, Britain expects. It's not been plain sailing for Steve Williams, Peter Reid, Alex Partridge and Andy Hodge this summer. Partridge have been injured, they've been beaten twice, and in their semi-final here they looked anything but untouchable.
We knew it was going to be a very tough semi-final, and we got into quite a good position early on. We were around about halfway and in a strong position and just rowing our own race, and I think, to be fair, you know, we could see there were 3 crews behind us in a long line. They were fighting it out for the 2 places behind us. And yeah, maybe we were a little bit surprised by it, but I don't think we were desperate.
Nothing focuses the mind quite like defeat. A loss at the World Cup event at Lucerne, albeit with a substitute rower, has increased the fire within.
Everyone here went away after Lucerne, you know, with a very harsh realisation that everybody else is not going to lie down and give us the medals, and they're going to train just as hard as we are. So we went away over the last sort of 6-8 weeks and really put in some hard miles. And okay, we haven't had the best races over the last couple of days, but they've been enough. But we know what we still have in the bag, and that's what we put in place, you know, since the last defeat.
Does the history of the last decade and more weigh heavy on you guys, or is it a source of inspiration?
I think right now it's a real inspiration to us. In 2005, when we got together, we addressed that issue, and we were at the time the new crew and stepping into the Redgrave and Pinsent and Cracknell shoes. But now I think we've asserted ourselves on this event, and it's been 2005, 2006, now it's 2007, our third year, and it's just about us. And in the final, I think we're the four guys that are going to be able to do the job.
And how much is the motivation about that? I think you've got a stag weekend, or a stag week coming up next week here in Munich, so you can really let your hair down once it gets to sort of Sunday evening. So one big push before the party starts.
That's all I'll be thinking about in the final is the stag do afterwards. No, we've got, you know, we've had two races so far, and, you know, in an honest sort of account, they've been an underperformance. Our final is our last chance to get it right. Our last chance to prove to the world what the British Cox 4 is about. And this is going to be, that's our only opportunity to do it. We have to do it then.
I suppose the great thing, Steve, though, is that, you know, you are the crew to beat, and everybody else is looking at you more than you're looking at them, which is the best position to be in.
It is. You know, we're double world champions. We've won 27 of our 29 races. We are the crew that everyone loves to hate. You know, we're up there and they're trying to knock us off the top spot. But, you know, you get to a world championship final and all of that counts for nothing. You know, no one stands on ceremony. You know, the rest of the world, they're not there just to fight it out for the silver medal. So, you know, it'll be a very, very tough race. Lucerne was good, I think, because over the last 2 years, you know, it's almost been a little bit too easy, you know, but I think that's really good experience for us tomorrow, because I'm sure, you know, we'll be challenged maybe by 1, 2 or more crews at different points in the race, and, you know, we'll have crews alongside us putting us under that pressure.
Well, the sun's come out, but the moment of truth, really, isn't it, for the guys?
No, definitely. They're under a hell of a lot of pressure. That obviously didn't do very well at Lucerne. They did have a sub on board. You can use that as an excuse in some ways, but they've been really under pressure big time here. The French, the Italians have been going well. The New Zealanders look really strong indeed. And you've got the Dutch as well, that have been there sort of around their heels for the last couple of years. It's going to be tough, I think. It's a really difficult one to call. That I think they'll get off to a good start. I think they'll probably lead, but it's what happens in that middle thousand, especially around 1,000 metres, just before, just after. To me, that's the decisive bit. If they can row well and strong during that period, I think they'll win.
They've been talking a good game, haven't they? But what have you made of the body language over the last 48 hours?
No, definitely. Certainly after the semi-final, they've been talking all the right words, but body language hasn't looked that positive. I don't know how much you can read into that. That they know that they didn't row that well in the heat. They knew that they didn't row that well in the semi-final. They know they've got to pull it out in this one. And the body language maybe says we're concentrating on what we've got to do and channel it all into this one race. Let's hope so.
And they're away. The first stroke, Italy get it in nice and quick, and up go France in lane number 5, Great Britain in 4, New Zealand in 3, Netherlands in 2, Slovenia top of your picture also away quiet and quick. So important now for Steve Williams to call this race through the first 150 meters. Make sure they get out quick, but then they just start to lengthen out. Very, very important for them to get into that very fast rhythm. But France already now just starting to creak it on, sneaking out to about 3 feet lead.
Jürgen Grobler has been trying to change the technique a little bit in the British 4. He's been trying to lower the weight, so there's less in the shoulders, less work in the shoulders, bringing it down a little bit so it's more leg-driven, initiated by the leg drive. The stroke, as the blade goes into the water, the legs push there, and they're sitting a bit lower, bringing the work down to the lower back rather than up in the shoulders. That helps really the boat not to bounce, just to keep moving on an even keel. They're moving well, they're just beginning to edge in front, and that's very important for them to establish themselves in that good position.
So there's Andy Hodge bringing the crew along at 41 strokes per minute. That's quite impressive. That just shows you the determination. But they've got to be very, very clever, because they went off quick like that in the semi-final and they were almost caught. First timing mark, Great Britain just through, but it's being really pushed hard by Netherlands, France and New Zealand. The whispers around the course here are that New Zealand are the crew that may well just pip this. Into the second 500 now. The New Zealand crew are about a third of a length down. The challenge really is being pushed on by France in lane number 5, and the real old adversaries up there in lane number 2, Netherlands.
Although Italy are in last at the moment, closest to us there at the bottom of the screen, Italy are very fast finishers. They were second in the 8 last year, all 4 of these guys in the 8 last year at the World Championships. They are very, very experienced and canny, so expect them to come storming up at the end.
Less than a second split the first 4 crews at that 500 meters timing mark there, and look at this, through 750 meters, and it really is just nip and tuck. There's nothing in it here, and at this particular part it really is about being inside the boat but not being too concerned about what's going on around, and focusing, because it'll still be a lot very noisy. You can hear the crews on either side. But look at the Dutch. They are now taking it on. They're thinking, look, we're not going to sit in the pack here now. If we're going to be brave, we have to be brave early.
Now, this is ominous. They don't like to be that much down in the pack at this stage, coming up to halfway. They've got a lot to do now to get back there. The Dutch have made their move. New Zealand is still a threat, but they are not in the position they like to be.
So unusually, Great Britain going through the halfway mark in the 3rd position. Netherlands, Slovenia, Great Britain and New Zealand, the talk of this regatta, are down in 6th position, but there is nothing between all of these 6 boats here now. Great Britain will start to have to move on. Andy Hodge, Alex Partridge, Peter Reid up in the bow seat. Steve Williams makes the calls there in the middle of your picture. Watch the yellow boat here, because it's going to have to move, because the Dutch have gone. The Dutch are going to take Slovenia. Slovenia will start to move and take New Zealand, and the New Zealand crew are definitely finding some speed.
They did make a change just there. The rating went a little bit up. They started to move right back on the field there. But Italy down in the bottom corner there, they were moving too.
Just see it, 38 strokes per minute. That's how you have to be in this 3rd 500 meters. Great Britain still in and around 4th position. New Zealand now come through. Look at the Italians here. Lorenzo Carboncini, Niccolo Morinati, Sartori and Carlo Monati in the bow seat. All of these guys have got a ton of experience. They're silver medalists for the last 2 years in the men's 8. They know how to race. The Italians really love the second part of the race, whereas Great Britain are really going to have to struggle in this 3rd 500.
Well, they've got to make their move. They've got to move because they've got tremendous power, but there's a lot of pressure on them coming from all sides here as they come up to the last 500.
It's been a long time since I've ever seen 6 boats going through so quickly. 5 of them, though, could get the gold medal, and Great Britain again struggling to maintain the speed being set by Netherlands. Now we're looking at Hamish Bond there from New Zealand. A little look to the left. What's happening with Great Britain? A little look to the right at the Netherlands leading it. But the British crew now are struggling again. They're in currently 5th position. Who would have believed it? It'll take a miracle. It'll take fireworks from the British crew. Andy Hodge can do that in the stroke seat. He's got a fantastic crew backing him up. But the Italians in lane number 6, Lorenzo Carboncini, he is moving his crew through. Are we going to see the crown handed over from Great Britain? In goes New Zealand, lane number 3, 200 meters remaining.
Italy moving all the time. Holland just being pulled back. This was going to be Holland's chance. They've beaten the world champions, it looks like, but are they going to get beaten themselves?
150 meters remain. Great Britain struggling just to get on the medal podium. This is an incredible performance by the rest of the world. The race is on. Italy, New Zealand, Netherlands. Great Britain will not get on the medal podium. They've got 5-6 strokes remaining. This is simply incredible result from Great Britain. Out front, New Zealand will take it, and impressively done. New Zealand from Italy, from Netherlands, and unbelievable. Great Britain just crawl across the finishing line in 4th position. Well, it is just straight back to the drawing board for Jürgen Grobler and for these 4 men as their heads are bowed in complete disbelief. And that just shows you disbelief from Great Britain, elation from New Zealand, and the Netherlands, who led early on as well into 3rd position, and the Italians never write off the Italians. Silver for Italy today. Well, Dan, we're absolutely speechless seeing that unfolding before our eyes here. You were just waiting for Great Britain to go, waiting and waiting, and there was a point where we realized it just was not going to happen.
There's been a threat, really. That New Zealand crew has been threatening, really, since we saw them come over here in midsummer. But for them, really, not to be able to respond to the attack of Italy, they've beaten the Dutch on every occasion, really, and it's a blow. They are not rowing as well as they have. They're going to have to rethink their selection over the winter, and Jürgen Grobler has a lot of work to do. Will he look at the pair and see whether Matt Langridge is the guy to come into that for somebody there? Will he look at Colin Smith? He's going to have to think how he strengthens that boat or changes his priorities.
Well, you'll be reading about it on the back pages of all the sports newspapers. There it is. Unfortunately, Great Britain are not on the medal podium today. It's New Zealand, impressive in the last 1,000 meters. Italy likewise. The Netherlands into bronze medal. They held off for a part. They suffer, though, into bronze, and Great Britain are 4th. Simply incredible.
Well, I suppose you could say that the sun sets on an era there.
Well, certainly, but after the performances over the last 2 years, that's obviously very disappointing. Is that we knew the field was very tight. We knew there was a chance that they may not win, but to not be on the medal rostrum is a big shock, really.
So it's a big inquest, inevitably. What are your immediate thoughts about what might have gone wrong?
It's difficult to say in some respects that what you were saying earlier about of the body language after the semi-finals and they were talking a good game but not really showing a good game. Perhaps that was a bit. Perhaps they had more to read in that than they were actually saying. But that they will go away. They'll have a break. That they'll get together. They'll get back into Jürgen's office. They'll have a debriefing of what they thought of the whole season as well as this regatta and this race, and then they'll try and start working things out from that. But there'll be a tough, long time through the winter of working. But you also got to remember is that 4 years ago at Milan is that our favourite boat as the coxless pair with Matthew and James in it finished 4th. And there was a big reshuffle around, and we still walked away with a gold medal. So it seems all doom and gloom at the moment, but it doesn't mean it's all disaster for next year.
You say it's a long winter ahead. We've got 4 rather long faces actually just coming towards us now. Guys, if we could just bring you all in. I'm sure it's very easy to give interviews when everything's going swimmingly and you've got medals around your neck. It's a lot harder when obviously you're bitterly disappointed by what's happened there. When you crossed the line and realised that you weren't even on the podium, what was your immediate thought? Disbelief?
Not much, really. It's hard to say. You prepare to go all out, and you can only work up experiences, and our experiences have so far dictated that. When we push, we can push through people, or when we go off the 1,000, you can get back into the field or push clear of the field, and that didn't happen today. And all you could do is push hard and hard and hard. And when you cross the line and you haven't done it, it's a pretty empty feeling, really.
Because Pete, you're not used to not winning, are you?
No, it's very, very tough, and. I don't really know how to describe how I feel now without swearing. It's really, really bad.
Were you very angry almost? Is anger an emotion as well?
No, I'm not angry. I just feel quite empty at the moment, and I mean the event's moved on, no doubt, but we're really going to have to work out how to go faster for next year, and we're going to have to sit down at some point, put our heads together, and work out how to beat the three boats that beat us and go even faster than that. It's not going to be simple from now on, and I think we'll see a lot of changes.
So I think we feel a bit short. Actually, can you move the microphone along, Steve? You know, it's the kind of same old question about how do you feel, but are you able, in the immediate aftermath, to put your finger on where perhaps you might have underperformed as a crew?
It's very difficult. I mean, you can tell, you know, we're all very, very shell-shocked. We don't have the answer right now. You know, obviously it wasn't for lack of trying or effort, but just somehow something was missing, and all that energy just wasn't coming out in boat speed. You know, and looking back over the last few weeks, you know, we've certainly had the speed in training, but that obviously counts for nothing if you can't do it in the big race situation. And you know, we weren't able to do that today. And no, we don't have the answer right now, and it's just very, very frustrating and very disappointing. You know, we feel we let ourselves down and let everyone down who's put us here.
Obviously, the crowd, you could probably hear, getting very excited by another race behind us with a German rower getting very close to the medals there. But I'm sure everybody can see from the kind of rather glazed look on your faces that it's almost like being, is it like being shell-shocked? Is it like someone's landed a huge blow in your midriff and you can't quite work out how to respond to it?
Yeah, I mean, we only finished racing about 20 minutes ago, and I think my mind and I think everybody's minds here are already working overdrive on where it went wrong and why, you know, the things that we normally get right didn't quite go right today. You know, I'd be lying to say that we didn't feel that we put everything in that we said we were going to do. I mean, none of us didn't try our hardest, and it wasn't a case of, you know, anybody blowing up before the line or anything like that. It was just a case of a very fast race, and we didn't come out the right side of it. But at least it happens now and not next year. You know, that's the important thing, and we can go away now and leave no stone unturned and no questions unanswered.
Steve, a final word to you. How hard are the next few months going to be in terms of analysis and soul searching, do you think?
Well, I think the first thing is, you know, I mean, that's the end of the season for us now, so it's very frustrating to, you know, there's no comeback now in one way in the immediate future, but we do need to go away and just have our own personal space. You know, we've got a 3-week holiday now, and you know, have some downtime and some time alone to reflect on, you know, not just today but the last few months, the last year, and then in 3 weeks' time when we come back, obviously there'll be a lot of soul searching and you know, a lot of questions, a lot of tough questions that we need to ask ourselves.
Well, enjoy the holiday. The edge has been taken off it somewhat, obviously, by the events today, but enjoy your holiday and work hard through the winter, and thanks an awful lot for talking to us all. Thanks a great deal. So, disappointing start, obviously, to the afternoon for our coxless 4. Let's move on now to the glory boys, the guys who love doing it in solitary confinement almost out there on the water. And the man from Coleraine in Northern Ireland, Alan Campbell, has a very real chance of bringing home the bacon for Britain. We spend so much of our time in the sport talking about pairs and coxless 4s and 8s, and, you know, then there's just you on your own, kind of Johnny no mates in a boat. So what does that say about you as an individual, do you think?
Well, basically, no one on my boat hates me, so don't, which is always a good thing. But I get along with all the people I row with. But no, I think it takes a sort of a special mindset to do the single, and I think it just isn't everyone's cup of tea. But I'm quite happy to just work on something by myself, get it right. And the other thing I like about the single is that you get very sort of active feedback straight away. If the boat's going badly, it's you. If it's going well, it's you. There's no sort of ifs or buts or in-betweens. It's purely just down to you and what you're doing. I think for someone like myself, I respond better knowing if it's myself that's going badly or if it's something else.
A week ago today, the world crowned the fastest man in the world, and Tyson Gay won the 100 metres in Japan. Here we are, effectively about to crown the fastest man in a boat, which has a nice ring to it, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, fastest man in his own maybe on the boat, but yeah, the singles is a bit of an odd event because we're almost, it's not like the 100 metres where it is the fastest, it's the slowest event. The 8s is over about 1 minute and 20 seconds before ours is if we start at the same time, but yeah, no, it will be quite exciting. It's going to be a big one. I've got a centre lane, I've got Mahe Drysdale, the world champion beside me, and also Olaf Tufte, the Olympic champion beside me, so I'm in very good company where I'm situated within the sort of the lane draw for the final, and this is pre-Olympic year. People want to put down a big mark, and there's no better way to put down I'm going to be Olympic champion if I'm world champion. And so yeah, everyone, there's all to play for tomorrow. Everyone's qualified for the Olympics already, and tomorrow is the icing on the cake as such.
Steve, Alan Campbell was disappointed last year, and maybe there were one or two flaws in his tactical approach. How much of a more mature competitor is he this year?
We had a great season last year of winning a lot of races, and then coming 6th at the World Championships, he was extremely disappointed that. He's matured a lot. His tactical racing has been much better. Instead of blasting out or having a certain section within the race of making sort of a huge effort, he's pacing himself much better. Potentially, he could win this event. He could come all the way down to 5th. If he can get onto the rostrum, a bronze medal would be absolutely fantastic, a good stepping stone towards the Olympics next year. But it's a very tough field out there. All 6 of them potentially could win.
And away, the blocks go down, and Andrej Činec from the Czech Republic really does blast out in the final of the men's single sculls. Germany's Marcel Hacker in lane number 5. Not as quick getting out as he usually is. He's out to full length. A lane order in 1, top of the picture, Sweden. Lane 2, Norway, Olaf Tufte, the Olympic champion. Great Britain's Alan Campbell goes in lane number 3. The world champion from New Zealand in 4. Germany's Marcel Hacker in 5. And from the Czech Republic, Andrej Činec is closest to us in lane number 6. But now, Dan, Marcel Hacker really starting just to stretch out into length.
It's interesting how he's changed his rowing style as well. He's sitting much lower in the boat. He used to sit very tall and upright and just pump his legs, big long arms and legs. And now he's sitting lower in the boat. He's sitting lower and he's reaching more with his body to get that length. And it seems to be paying off, whether he can sustain that. Interesting also that world champion Mahe Drysdale was just sitting back a little bit. He takes a while to get into his stride, but here he is now, just beginning to move. But look at Alan Campbell go.
Talking to Alan over the last couple of days, and he was talking about this final, thinking he's in no better company than around him. On his right, the Olympic champion Olaf Tufte from Norway. On his left, Mahe Drysdale, the defending world champion. And this really is a big step, because his one goal, the one thing that this guy wants to do, is be the Olympic champion next year. So you've got to step up at the World Championships, nothing like doing it the year before. Through the 500-meter mark now, Great Britain's Alan Campbell just leading, but only just. It's a matter of feet and inches, but that's fine, because this guy has really matured through the 2007 World Cup Series, through the 2007 season. Usually we see him blasting out, and now he's just really calm and collective. There he is, Dan. First look at him.
He's sitting low. He's also changed his rowing style a bit. Sitting low, less in the shoulders, more in the legs and the lower back. That kind of horizontal drive, which is very, very effective for him. But he has matured. He's listening to his coaches, and he's actually really thinking about the middle part of the race. Not trying to get as much as he can, as quickly as he can, but trying to get a really good race rhythm. But look at Mahe Drysdale, big finish there at the end of the stroke. Very unusual to see Tufte up in front. He comes from behind. He's usually about a length down on the leaders. Here he is up in front, and is he moving? Look at this.
In the yellow boat, the Olympic champion now has opened up a half a boat length lead on Alan Campbell, but Alan is long and relaxed from Great Britain in lane number 3. That black boat is also the boat we need to watch. That's Mahe Drysdale, but we're looking at Olaf Tufte, the Olympic champion. Doesn't he look just great? Look how narrow the boats are. These are just fine racing machines, and you think about being up on 34, 35 strokes a minute. racing for your life in what are just such delicate crafts.
He's sculling very well, Tufte. He's just moving beautifully. Sitting very, very low, very long forward.
So at the halfway mark now, Alan Campbell from Great Britain led it through 500. He's down into third position now at the 1,000 meters. It's Norway from New Zealand, from Great Britain. He's still in a very, very good position here. Marcel Hacker back in sixth position. Incredible now. He's going to have to turn it around in the third 500. Elaine Order, Sweden in one. Norway, Olaf Tufte, the Olympic champion. There he is. Oh, just smooth and relaxed out to half a boat length lead over Great Britain's Alan Campbell behind him, 1 length down in the white boat, half a length down on Olaf Tufte. New Zealand's Mahe Drysdale in lane number 4. Germany, there he is, Marcel Hacker struggling along there in lane number 5. And the Czech Republic, there he is there, Ondrej Činec in lane number 6.
Well, Činec not out of it, but now look, Mahe Drysdale has checked that move of Tufte, that first part of the race with Tufte, and Mahe Drysdale is now just lengthening out. And that power, he's a very tall guy, he's a very big athlete, so he's got long arms and legs, and he makes sure that he uses every bit of the stroke. He finishes it out better than almost any of the other scullers.
Well, these are hallowed waters for Team New Zealand. Back in 1972 at the Munich Olympics, the New Zealand 8 won the gold medal. They've been legends ever since that now. And here is Mahe Drysdale going out to half a length lead now on Olaf Tufte, looking to emulate Rob Waddell, who was the Olympic champion in 2004 in this event.
Now, Alan Campbell has had a steadier middle 1,000. I think that Tufte went out really hard to see if he could shake everybody up. He's going to be vulnerable in the last 500 meters, where usually he's strong, and that's where Alan Campbell's fast finish could have an effect.
We're now getting into the business end of the final of the men's heavyweight single scull, and Mahe Drysdale has just opened up the field in that third 500 meters. He's opened up clear water on Norway. Olaf Tufte from Norway, the Olympic champion. Ondrej Činec from the Czech Republic has moved up. We're looking at Marcel Hacker, who almost looks to be paddling here. Now, Great Britain's Alan Campbell in lane number 3 had a great first 500. He's had a pretty steady middle 1,000. We know he's got an explosive turn of speed in the closing stages. He's going to need it. It's looking very, very unlikely that he will catch Mahe Drysdale. He's got to look to the left to look at Ondrej Činec from the Czech Republic in lane at number 6, who's having a fabulous scull in the closing stages. Look, it's New Zealand from Olaf Tufte from Great Britain, and the Czech Republic's Ondrej Činec up there as well.
Very good move there from Drysdale. He's completely destroyed the field. But I'm worried about Činec, but can Campbell now hold it off? Tufte is not tiring. Campbell's got to move now. He's got about 300 meters to go.
So inside the last closing stages, every single stroke is now precious. Up goes Olaf Tufte from Norway. He's out front. Look at the black boat. Mahe Drysdale on hallowed waters here at Munich. The same place where the team has done so well in the past. Out to 1 length, sculling away from everybody else. And Alan Campbell back in 4th. He's got 10 strokes to move into the bronze medal position. But coming up to the line, defending his title, Mahe Drysdale from New Zealand in 1st place. And Olaf Tufte hanging on for bronze. Ondrej Činec from the Czech Republic moves into silver medal. And disappointing for Alan Campbell, who would have felt in the first part of that race that the gold medal was on. It's 4th today for Alan.
4th today for Alan, and in fact, it's good that he didn't win it, because I think it's going to make him so hungry for the Olympic title. But Drysdale looks unstoppable. Drysdale was really fantastic, and Činec's last 500 meters was brilliant.
2 years in a row he's been world champion, defended again. It's 3 in a row for Mahe Drysdale from New Zealand, and Alan Campbell squeezed out into 4th, but everything to fight for with Beijing next year.
Well, 4th is the worst position of all in a way, isn't it?
It's a horrible position to finish in, and he's going to be bitterly disappointed that he hasn't got a medal there. But if you look at it from a step on from last year, it's a big step on, and that it's got to be a good chance of getting a medal next year. So you've got to look on the positive point of view, but at the moment he's going to be really down and very disappointed.
And before the race, you know, you said Alan was leading at 500 and then faded away. You know, in many ways, he didn't fade away there because he hung on in there. Just the others did come past him.
No, it's a very strong field. That Mahe from New Zealand is obviously a very strong guy. Third time he's won the World Championships. Had an epic race last year, nip and tuck all the way down. This year, obviously, dominated it from sort of 1,500 metres and started to get a little bit closer. And sorry, he's just coming in now.
Mahe Drysdale, many congratulations. 3 times in a row.
Yeah, well, it's a huge relief to get that one out of the way. You know, I was pretty nervous this morning, and I've really been feeling good how this week's gone, and thought that you know, it could be mine for the taking. And I suppose I was surprised about how quickly I got out in front and really dominated the race, which was great.
It seemed like the third 500, you really took it by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah, well, you know, my plan was to try to get out by the 1,000, and that hadn't happened. And Olaf's a dangerous man in that last 1,000, so I thought I've just got to go and test him out here. And as soon as I went past him, I was pretty confident that you know, I could take the race from there. I got a strong second 1,000, and yeah, that's what did.
And you know, your third consecutive World Championship. Are you a proportionately better rower now than you were 2 years ago?
Oh, for sure. You know, it was a real surprise 2 years ago to win. I think this year, you know, it was a slow start to the season. We'd worked on a different program and got a bit nervous into Amsterdam with my worst ever result being 4th. And so, yeah, when I took the win in Lucerne, that just gave me a huge boost. And, you know, the training's gone great since then.
And ever onwards to Beijing, eh?
Yeah, well, that's right. And, you know, that was the major goal for this week. And getting that out of the way on Thursday was great. And, you know, going in as a 3-time world champion to Beijing certainly puts the pressure on. But, you know, it's going great at the moment, so I just got to step up another gear because these guys are chasing.
What were your thoughts going through your mind from this time last year? It was so tight coming up to the second half of the course, where you then sort of moving away. Were you thinking this is good, or were you thinking what were the difference from last year?
Well, like last year, yeah, I felt like I got dominated, and it was, you know, it was not the way I like to race. I basically got lucky, is how I'd put it. And so this year I really worked on that first 1,000 and really getting out with everyone, because I knew the second 1,000 would take care of itself. And, you know, today I won at the third 500. I won most of my races there. So, you know, that's my strength. And, yeah, I think the races that we had this year, they were so fast in the second 1,000 that I thought we can do a bit more first 1,000.
I tell you something, Mahe, you say the pressure's on you in Beijing next year. I think the pressure's on everybody else, actually, but still, many congratulations. Mahe Drysdale, 3 times a world champion. And in the women's race, Ekaterina Karsten of Belarus was trying to win for the 3rd year running as well.
They are inside 200 metres in the final of the women's single scull, and the 2-time Olympic champion is looking very, very impressive. But Mirka Napkova from the Czech Republic has not rolled over. She's still hanging on. She can see Michelle Goret from the USA in lane number 6 to her left. On Bulgaria up there in lane number 2, starting to go up. They're inside 150 metres.
She took a length there in about 200 metres, but Napkova trying to hang on, but look at Napkova come. Look at the Bulgarian move. She's up there at 40 strokes a minute.
So inside the last 50 metres now, and Napkova from Bulgaria starting to hunt down the Olympic champion, but it's going to be too late. On the line is a gold medal again. Another one for the Olympic champion from Belarus, Ekaterina Karsten. And it was just very close coming over the line for the second place, but we're going to see it'll be Nekova from Bulgaria gets the silver medal, and we'll wait there for the confirmation for the bronze medal. Just coming through now, Michelle Goret from the United States of America. What a fantastic sprint for the line, but held off by the imperious Olympic champion from Belarus, Ekaterina Karsten.
Just for a moment, you thought she might get beaten there?
Very unexpected. That I expected her to dominate the race right from the start, and she was trailing for a long way, but when she got into the closing stages and she made a move, very, very impressive indeed.
Did she win that, or did the others lose it?
I think she won it. As that she is the class act within singles, and it was hugely impressive, but I was expecting her to dominate it right from the word go, and not in just the closing stages.
OK, well, no British interest in that race, obviously, but there is in this next one. It's the men's pair, Colin Smith and Matt Langridge. They were unbelievably relaxed when I spoke to them yesterday. Almost demob happy, you might say.
semi-final is a different race. I mean, it's a one-off race. There's nothing after this. That's our last race of the season. So it's just a case of absolutely everything we can do and really try and show our absolute maximum speed. There's no holding back now. So it will be a totally different race to the heat and the semi.
You must have felt like brothers over the last few months. Like you can't move because he's just next door to you the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, rowing is in many senses the ultimate sport of compromise. You have to fit perfectly with each other in the boat and do the same training program. And I think especially in pairs and doubles, there's no way of avoiding really sort of being in each other's personality. We pretty much live in each other's pockets, and that can be really great if things are going well. It can be a bit of a pain if things aren't going so well. So yeah, no, I mean, we've certainly learnt a lot about each other, and we know pretty well what to expect from one another.
And what really annoys you most about him?
Being late.
Being late. What are you annoyed about him?
Him being early.
A huge race then for Great Britain's Colin Smith and Matt Langridge in lane number 2. The final of the men's coxless pairs underway. Australia's Drew Ginn and Duncan Free. Look at the power, the determination of the world champions. We're watching the white boat in the middle of the pack already, just squeezing out to a couple of feet lead. They are so long, and they really know how to move on. Serbia, Montenegro in lane number 1. Great Britain are in lane number 2. Australia 3. New Zealand in 4. South Africa 5. And France are closest to us in lane number 6.
Well, I do hope that the British pair, I was worrying that they might be slow off the start like they were in the semi-final, where they had a huge amount to catch up in the last 500 meters. They did it. They came through to finish second. But here, they're in the pack, and that's really important because they do have a very, very strong finish. If they can now settle into a very good rhythm in the middle of the course, that'll be great. But Australia, I can't see anybody beating Australia. They are so classy. They've been really the class boat of the regatta so far, and already now they're stretching out. They're big men, big, long men. So you know, when you're that tall, your arms and legs are so long. We call them levers in rowing. Your levers are very, very long, so they don't have to close up the gap between the knees, underneath the knees. They can stay actually quite wide on that drive, which means it's a much quicker and more explosive push with the feet.
Through 500 meters now, and Australia are being challenged. They've been pushed on by New Zealand in lane number 4. Unusually though, Duncan Free and Drew Ginn from the Australian crew have kept it up on 39 strokes per minute. They usually come down before the 500. They were up on 39, and it really is now a bit of a pressure that they're being applied. Lane number 2, Great Britain, Colin Smith, Matt Langridge from Leander Club, 24 years of age. He's a real athlete here. A great find for us. This is a crew who you could win. They could win it, or they could come last because they're so unpredictable. It's so important for them to get in the race. They're definitely in the race here. They had a terribly disappointing first 1,000 meters, first 1,500 meters of the semi-final yet on Thursday, and they had to turn it around in the last 500 to just to steal the qualification spot for this final.
Serbia have been around a long time, very experienced there in the top lane, but they've never really shown. But yes, in the semi-finals 2 days ago, they had moved very well. Very interesting to see that New Zealand now, Bridgewater at stroke, really motoring it. They are up at 38 strokes a minute, really pushing Australia, and for the first time. Australia usually at this stage here are beginning to stretch out their lead. But here, New Zealand rowing better than they did last year. They were world champions 2 years ago in Gifu, but here they are rowing really, really well. And very, very determined. But this is a sprint for them, and I doubt if they can hold that all the way.
George Bridgewater there, grimacing his teeth as they come towards the 1,000 meter in the final of the men's coxless pairs, and it's just going to be Australia and New Zealand. Well, Australia were the world champions last year. New Zealand had the silver medal on that occasion. They're fighting it out again. Great Britain are in lane at number 2, back in 5th position here. Really have to turn the screw in this third 500 meters if they're going to start chasing down New Zealand and chasing down Serbia and Montenegro up in lane number 1.
There go Australia now. Look, they've resisted that attack from New Zealand. They've upped their rating now to 37 strokes a minute, and they're just beginning to move away. And because they're so tall, they can just reach out that little bit more, use their power at the finish of the stroke, and they're just beginning to move away. Look how perfectly they move there together. at the top of the picture there. Beautiful finishes moving together. But Bridgewater not giving up, but still fighting hard.
But Dan, it's brute in New Zealand, the New Zealand boat. I mean, they're rowing well, but if you look at it, it's a contrast. Look at the star, the flow of Australia. Look at Drew Ginn here, who just squeezes it along, out to a length. Very easy there.
But the power has slightly gone. The ratio between the amount of, with the speed through the water and the time coming forward has slightly gone in the New Zealand boat. They're just sprinting. Power isn't there. You can see the ratio now in the Australian boat. Big power through the water, time to relax coming forward. That's the key to making a boat run fast.
Serbia Montenegro up there in lane number 1 there. Jagor and Stojic are just pushing on. They know they've got in lane at number 2. Great Britain just hounding them down. It's a race between those two at the moment for the bronze medal. 1,500 meters gone, 500 remain. It's clear water for Australia, the defending world champions Drew Ginn and Duncan Free, and Great Britain now moving into the bronze medal position. But it really will be far from over, because France in lane number 6 will start to push on. South Africa in lane number 5 will start to attack them. Serbia and Montenegro, that led them in the middle 1,000, they haven't rolled over either.
But look how fast that British pair moved. Really, in that third 500, they just moved right past Serbia, right past South Africa. It's the French now who are a threat on the near side lane.
French of Erwan Perrault and Laurent Cadeau in lane number 6, and always the worry is when you're in lane number 2, Great Britain, Matt Langridge and Colin Smith looking over to lane number 6, the French over there, but spread in between. Look at the class there. They have opened up. They're making it look easy. There's almost a stroll on this Saturday morning here in Munich. Australia, the defending world champions, Drew Ginn and Duncan Free. Drew Ginn, 2-time Olympic champion. Now he's in the coxless pair, moving an eye towards Beijing, and they can really enjoy what is only a stroll. Now Great Britain in lane at number 2, starting to push on against New Zealand. They haven't given up the thought of the silver medal. We're looking at the race to the left. Up goes Matt Langridge, out to the right. Australia paddling, racing though to the left. Matt Langridge and Colin Smith. Great Britain, they're in bronze medal position. They're half a length down on New Zealand. Here comes France in lane at number 6, but it's out front easily. Australia coming up to the line. New Zealand in silver medal and holding off the French. It's Great Britain in lane number 2. Bronze medal for Great Britain. A very good finish.
Really well done race. Really well thought through race for Great Britain. No one's going to stop the Australians. New Zealand did all they could. High rating, lost their power over the second half of the race. But my goodness, that British finish, on top of being in the pack, that was what was so important. Being in the pack, so that they had something to build on.
Australia first, New Zealand second, and Great Britain. A fantastic result there for Matt Langridge and Colin Smith. All to build on as they head towards Beijing and a long winter training ahead. Matt Langridge and Colin Smith, Great Britain there. A well fought out bronze medal, receiving it from John Boltby, who represents Australia. Look at the size difference between Matt Langridge on your right from Leander Club, Colin Smith from Oxford University Boat Club on the left. A great pair and really something to watch out for going forwards to Beijing.
Well, how good a row was that?
I thought that was a brilliant row. That it looks like they really targeted the bronze medal. The Australians are always the class act. New Zealand was World Championship 2 years ago. They really gave it a go, took the lead at halfway, and you thought, well, are they going to catch the Aussies? But obviously really struggled, and you see Bridgewater at the end of it. He was really struggling, and you thought, well, can our boys pinch off the silver? But first season together, bronze medal, very, very impressive indeed.
Well, it was almost a silver, and they're just over there, actually. Come in, guys. Many congratulations to both of you. I saw you hammering your fist on the boat at the end there with utter joy.
Yeah, I think it was certainly more relief than anything. I mean, it's coming into the World Champs over such a long time. There's a lot of build-up of pressure, and then to actually do it was a real relief. So,
were you eyeing the silver in the last 100, 200?
I may have mentioned it. To Matt. I thought it was a little bit tough. We had to build for the line a little bit earlier than we would have liked to. South Africans came charging pretty hard with about 500 meters to go, and didn't have quite as much gas in the legs as we did in the semi-final. But yeah, no, certainly knew what was going on. Yeah.
How do you assess, after a hard first season together, a bronze medal at the World Championships?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're really pleased. I think we knew coming into this event who were going to be the strong people. We knew that the Aussies from the year before were really, really strong, and as we were a new crew, it was obviously going to be difficult to get up with them. But I think at the start of the season to go in and win the first World Cup was a really good indication that we were doing well. To not go so well at Lucerne was a bit of a disappointment, but then to come back and get the bronze, we're really pleased about.
And for you, you know, as a stepping stone to Beijing?
Yeah, no, I think for a new pair to come in and pick up a medal in the Olympic qualification, yeah, must be a pretty good sign. And you know, I think Matthew and I have got a lot to come. You know, our road here to the World Championships since Lucerne hasn't been the easiest. We both had bouts of illness after and around Lucerne, and it took us quite a while to get over that. So I'm sure with a smooth preparation and continue working with Jürgen and stuff, we can do pretty well, yeah.
Well, many congratulations. Enjoy the evening, I'm sure you will, and enjoy the medal ceremony. Well done, guys. So from one British pair doing extremely well, here's another now who had high aspirations, and they have a refreshingly upbeat attitude towards being elite athletes.
We really enjoy what we're doing at the moment, and we're really lucky to be in this position that we're involved in sport at elite level, and it is a lot of fun. But then the morning of the race, when you do your warm-up road, you come back to the hotel, you've got about an hour and a half, and you're trying to eat, and you don't want to eat because you're really nervous, and you're just feeling really nervous. At that point, it's not fun, and you just want to get it over and done with.
But the thing about sport is, you know, there's ups and there's downs. You know, injury is a complete pain for all sports people. How do you keep yourself going when your body's letting you down?
It's almost worse for Elise because she's the one who's got to, who can't do anything. I can do my rehab, I'm going to my appointments, I'm going to the physio, I'm going to the doctors, and I know exactly what's going on every minute. And we always said to each other in the difficult times, you know, we're only really upset about this injury because we know how good it can be if we do get to do this crew, if we do get to race it this summer. And I think that thought of knowing the potential was a really big motivating factor.
We've said all along we want to enjoy being in a race, we want to enjoy battling out with crews alongside us, and that's what racing's about. And I think that's what we're really excited about, is being in the thick of it and getting things right and performing under pressure. So.
And winning.
And winning.
Sitting forwards, and they are away. The final of the women's double sculls. Great Britain are in lane number 3, Germany in lane 1, Romania in 2, China in 4, New Zealand, the Olympic champions, in lane number 5, and in lane number 6, the Czech Republic here. Now this is really Great Britain's big test. Elise Laverick and Anna Bebbington, what a season they've had. Anna Bebbington was injured in the first 2 World Cups, the early part of the season. They came back, they raced so bravely in Lucerne, finishing 4th, and they have gone from strength to strength throughout this World Championships. Well, you whisper it, they're on for a medal.
Elise was an Olympic bronze medalist 3 years ago with Sarah Winkless, and Anna Bebbington, she's a real find. I mean, she's really come just recently to the sport. Very powerful, one of the world's best ergometer performers, and 6:25, really top athlete. So with her power and Elise's experience, they've performed extremely well at this regatta.
Looking there though at Qin Li and Yang Tian, one of the strongest Chinese crews at this World Championships. This is really the crew to beat. First in Linz and first in Amsterdam, the first 2 World Cup series. They're currently at 36 strokes per minute. A little bit high there, really, if you look across everybody else who's really stretched out. Looking at New Zealand in lane at number 5, the long, sweeping stroke of Georgina Evers-Swindle and Caroline Evers-Swindle. Through the 500-meter mark, Great Britain in 3rd position. That's fine. They're in a good position now just to move into the second 500, to start finding their rhythm and getting good boat speed for that rhythm. A lane order: Germany in 1, Romania in 2, Great Britain 3, China, they are the race leaders in 4, New Zealand, they are the Olympic champions in lane number 5. Great Britain beat the Olympic champions earlier in this World Championship regatta, and the Czech Republic are in lane number 6.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see what the New Zealand coach Dick Tonks has been telling his double, because they had to find something to challenge the Chinese. They're doing that now. It's interesting to see the difference in styles between the Chinese and the New Zealanders. New Zealand all about power, all about just drive, muscle, power through the stroke to the finish, but not smooth, not flowy. And you look at the Chinese who are leading at the moment, they are 2 strokes a minute lower, they are more relaxed, their stroke is long and fluent, and you'll just see the way they're moving. Now, they're being attacked by New Zealand. Great Britain in a very good position there, also flowing very nicely. Just look at the way their boat is running, the Great Britain boat there. Just overlapping New Zealand and just about a length down on China. Very good position to be in. And just judging by the, from the season that they've had so far, you would never expect them to be there, but they're now being put under serious challenge from Romania.
The Romanian crew just moving up on the British out front, making it look rather comfortable right now. China's Qin Li on your right and Liang Tian on your left. And the precision is just near perfect. We're at the halfway mark, 1,000 down, there's 1,000 to go. It's China only just though from New Zealand, but it really is a contrast of styles there. Great Britain moved back into 4th position, squeezed out at the moment by Romania. These two in the Romanian crew, Papak and Musat, they are Olympic champions from 2004 in the women's 8. A very, very class field all around them here. Great Britain now have to turn the screw in this third 500 because China is starting to slip away, and New Zealand closest to us in the white boat, the all-black strip, are starting to open up clear water. Here's Great Britain.
Great Britain now slipped back into 4th. They're being taken by Romania at the moment. Romania, experienced. New Zealand, world champions in Gifu. China, very, very experienced and flowing along, looking really serene. They look as if they could just turn it on a little bit further down the course and just open up a lead. And Great Britain now, rusty from not really having had the racing experience of everybody else this season, are going to be struggling to get onto the podium, I think.
Not taking anything away from Great Britain, this is a fantastic result given the season that they have had. It's a great position they are in, but they themselves will be hungry for a medal. They know, despite what's happened in the past, that they want to get up onto the medal podium, and they're going to have to take on this crew from Romania. Papuk and Musat closest to us, Olympic champions in 2004 in the women's 8, who are now ominously moving out to a length and will start to go out to that clear water position.
I like the way that the stroke there, Simona Musat, she's her eyes just flickering from side to side just to see where everybody is. Very, very canny.
500 to go now in the final of the women's double sculls. China, as we thought and expected, right from the first stroke, they've got into their rhythm, they've taken it on. Chasing very, very hard, New Zealand, the Olympic champions, the former world champions. Behind them, we've got Romania, Olympic champions themselves. There's just tons of experience out there. They, the Olympic champions in the women's 8. Look at the grit and determination in the all-black strip of the Ever-Swindle sisters from New Zealand. They know that they really have a big ask here, but all important, lane 3. On the left of your picture, watch the yellow boat hunting down in lane 1, lane 2, Romania, and also hunting in lane number 5, New Zealand.
This is a great, great spirit from the British double. They're really putting an attack in here. They know that they were able to beat the New Zealanders in their opening heat. They beat them there with a fantastic finish. Can they do it again? They've got about 250 meters to go.
The bronze medal is possibly on, so too is the silver. They've got 200 meters now remaining. Out front, China very, very comfortably. China will not be caught today unless a complete disaster happens. But here comes Great Britain's Anna Bevington and Elise Laverick. Elise from Thames Rowing Club, Anna Bevington from Leander Club. They are splitting open the field. It's inside 150 now. They're currently in bronze medal position. They will know they want the silver. They will want the best result, best finish they can get. They've taken the Romanians. They're in bronze. Now on the last 10 strokes. Count them to the line, almost on to the heels of the silver medal. Out front is China, gold medal, very, very impressive. Here's the race for the silver medal, up to the line, and it's just very close. I give it to New Zealand and Great Britain getting the bronze medal. Either way, Great Britain have had a fantastic, fantastic result, but we're just going to see and wait for that confirmation. Just coming through that Great Britain did snatch the bronze medal there, and New Zealand holding on to the silver medal, and that's how close. Oh, nothing in it. You could not measure that. Just looking how close it is again. That'll be a photo that both of those crews will want to take home, put on their fridge, remind them, training through the winter to come, how close medals are won and lost. And for me, without a doubt, the regatta crew is Great Britain in this women's double sculls. Elise Laverick on your right, Anna Bebbington on your left. What a frustrating season that they had. Anna Bebbington was injured for the early part. They couldn't race. They came back to Lucerne, finished 4th there, and here they are now with a bronze medal on the medal podium. A great result for Great Britain.
0.02 of a second between a silver and a bronze, and it actually looked on our TV line, didn't it, that they'd actually got second.
It did. It looked. It did look like we got the silver there, but oh, how close! That a very good scull. That it looked like they were sort of slipping away, and looked like it was going to be 4th place, and then a good finish at the end to come right the way back into it. It was a really good effort indeed.
And how much improvement is there in that pair, do you think?
They have had an awful season. They've been dogged with injury, that they didn't race at the first 2 World Cup races, that Lucerne was touch and go even the few days before if they'd actually go and race. Because of the injury problems they've had, they did go and they raced really well and gone strength to strength, and that there's a lot more to come from that.
So actually, you know, they are live medal contenders, aren't they, for Beijing next year?
No, definitely. That the women's group is very strong indeed, and that you've got Sarah Winkless, who has been in the quad the last couple of years. Is that she's been injured, been out for the season. She's got to come back into it in some ways. Where does she go? Does she go back into the quad? Does she go into the double? Does she make either boat? It'll be an interesting winter for all of them, because their seats are not really safe.
Well, a hard winter ahead, but for the moment, I'm sure they're going to enjoy and savour the moment.
Well done, girls.
Many congratulations. How close to come over? How close was that at the end for the silver?
I'm not sure. Maybe a few more strokes, but it's hard to tell. They were a lane or 2 away from us, so.
I have to say, well, this is not putting you down, but at the halfway point, we were sitting here thinking, I think they're going to come 4th. Is that what you were thinking?
It crossed my. I think we went out. We wanted to go with China, and you know when races don't unfold how you wanted. We didn't have a fantastic start, which we needed to be out level with China. And I think for about 250, 400 metres, our heads went down a little bit, and we were like, not where we expected to be, not where we wanted to be. So I realised then that Romania had gone through us, and I started just calling us off Romania. We've got to get through Romania, and that's really what pushed us through in this last 500. And it was only then when we were 20 strokes off the line, then New Zealand were right there, and we started calling for New Zealand, but we didn't leave ourselves enough to do. I mean, you can't race from being behind easily and rowing the crews down when you give them that much of a head start.
Given the season that you've had, and Steve's been talking about the illness and the injury, that's a major achievement, isn't it?
It's my first World Championships medal, so in that sense, yeah, it's a good step on. I mean, it was going through my mind the last few 100 metres this time last year when I was 4th, and I so badly didn't want that to happen again, and I'm pleased I've at least managed that. But you know, we both aim to win, and that's what we came here to do. So to say we're disappointed, you know, we are disappointed, and we just come back next year and put it right.
So if you say you're disappointed, what word would you use to describe your mood at the moment?
I'm the same. I'm pleased that we are at least on the podium, but we had high hopes this weekend. We won our heat, we won our semi, we wanted to win today. We didn't do that, so we're disappointed. But Anna here, she's young, she's very strong, she's got a long way to go, and I think it's the start of something really exciting for Anna. And you know, next year, let's move it on.
I'm proud of what we've done in a few short weeks together here.
And rightly so. Be very proud. Many congratulations to both of you. And let's see if the men can achieve, or maybe better, what the girls managed.
We said that we wanted to replicate what we did last year. We've had a really good World Cup season with gold and 2 silvers, and yeah, it's definitely the right position to be in.
To be honest, I think the most stressful time is before the semi-final. I think the semi-final is the hardest race, because it's some boats who aren't expected to get to the final will do something exceptional, and you're not trying to produce your best race in the semi because you want to do it in the final. the big thing for us is if we want to win a gold medal at the Olympics, we've obviously got to qualify a boat, and that's ticked off, and that's a relief, to be fair. And the second thing was to get to the final, because again, you can't win medals if you're not in the final.
We've gone through all the different plans that could happen. Well, we know it's not strictly between one crew and us. It's between all 6 of us. I mean, all 6 of us could actually win the gold.
Stephen Rowbotham, Matthew Wells from Great Britain, lane number 2. No, they've got it all to do. Slightly slow in those first 2-3 strokes. They're going to have to be out of the blocks like lightning, because alongside them in lane number 3, Slovenia, Lucas Spick and Istop Shot out quick. Also in lane number 4, France, the world champions, Jean-Baptiste Marquette and Adrien Hardy in lane number 4. Estonia going quickly as well. They're in lane 5, and alongside us, perhaps the best of the start, New Zealand's Scott Trott and Nathan Cohen. They were 4th at Lucerne. This is a new combination for New Zealand, a young combination here, and at the moment they're having the best of the starts.
Well, it's France, the world champions. They do come on beautifully through the year. All the French athletes, they don't do what the Britain does. We have a squad system. All our athletes train all the year round together as a squad. The French, they train in their different localities. They come together every now and again through the season, the winter, but they train separately. So they get better and better and better as the racing program develops. And that's why we don't see them showing early on in the regattas, but they really do come through for the World Championships and the Olympics.
France now sitting there in lane number 4, half a length, fighting alongside Slovenia in lane 3. Great Britain also in there in lane number 2, nothing in it across 6 boats. Looking a little bit ragged there and hard and yanked going through 500 meters from New Zealand, but it's France, New Zealand, Estonia, Slovenia, Belarus and Great Britain currently in 6th position. Not too bad though, really, because now they're going to just start to stretch it out. You can see there's nothing in it there. Nothing to worry about. Stephen Rowbotham there from Leander Club, 25 years of age. A very, very experienced guy there, but sitting behind him, Matthew Wells, who just talks down the race. All about building confidence, stepping along.
Experienced man, Matthew Wells. I mean, he goes back to winning under-23 medals in 1997. So he's got a lot of experience. They are good finishers. They're fast finishers. So watch out for them in the last 700 meters. But look also for the Estonians, who are very, very strong in the second half as well. I think the New Zealanders closest to us are struggling. They're gritting their teeth, battling away, and first time on the block, in the final, they will fly off as far as they can. But now watch Slovenia moving away. The experience of the Olympic champions, stretching out, moving away.
So, Dan, it doesn't look like Lucas Spick and Istop Shot from Slovenia have actually really come down off their rate. They have been up there, and they have just been really whipping it along out to 1,000 meters.
Oh, really, Gary? I mean, they're at 34 strokes a minute. They're steady. This is the way he does it. He really does sit low, drives his leg. He's not a big guy, so he's really got to get as much length as he possibly can. And he just keeps it steady at 34. They were Olympic champions in Sydney, not in Athens.
So we're coming up to the 1,000-meter mark, halfway now, and Istop Shot in the stroke seat of the Slovenian boat calls it up. They know the race is on. Great Britain moving up into 5th position. Great Britain in lane number 2. Let me give you a lane order. Up there in lane number 1, Belarus. Lane 2, Great Britain. Slovenia in 3, France in 4, Estonia in 5. New Zealand are in lane number 6. They were the early race leaders to the 500-meter mark. Just see how the experience, though, of Slovenia starting just to stretch out, and Great Britain going 2 down from the top. Great Britain are definitely moving up now into this sort of 4th position. They've moved out of 6th, they've moved into 5th, they've moved out of 5th into 4th. But here we're looking at Estonia. Juri Jansen closest to us, 41 years of age. They were first at Lucerne, first at Amsterdam. They really know how to race, and they too are getting into a great rhythm with 750 meters to go.
Well, Slovenia made their move at halfway, and now the others are coming at them. Can they actually hold that? It's a big, big ask, because the French are very, very strong in the last part, and so are the British.
Spick there, top of your picture to the right, looks as though he's really starting to struggle, starting to yank it on. Even there you see the difference between Spick and Chop, who sits in front of him there. But if you look at the blade, it's just moving nicely. France there sat beside them, and Great Britain in lane number 2 hunting. Matthew Wells Stephen Rowbotham hunting all the time.
Look at France has got a lovely rhythm there. They've got a very quick movement through the water, time on the slide to take a breath and to let the boat run.
So the last timing mark before they all go into their final sprint, and Great Britain sitting in 4th position here now. There really is something, there's nothing in between Great Britain and Estonia moving up to France, Slovenia race leaders. Have Slovenia gone too early? Have the French got enough to move up again on Slovenia? Look at Slovenia starting to come back. And Estonia in lane at number 5. Rühle Janssen, 41 years of age, still the fiery competitor that he is. Behind him, Tonu Endrickson backing him up. They are now starting to make a move as Estonia go up into the silver medal position. Great Britain also responding. This really is now full sprint. All of these boats are up on maximum sprints.
This is a wonderful, and you knew right at the beginning that it was going to be between these four crews. The world champions in France, the ancient Estonian Rühle Janssen, the Brits there, and the Slovenians with their experience as well. What a great finish we're in for here. 200 metres to go. 200
remain now, and you really couldn't call where the gold medal is going. Up against Stephen Rowbotham. He's found another gear and backed up by Matthew Wells up in lane at number 2. Look at the British go here. Slovenia hanging on. They're hanging on, and they're moving on, and they're moving out. Great Britain starting to slip back into 4th position. The world champions from France responded, and Estonia closest to us again going for the line. It's 10 strokes remaining, and Great Britain have moved back into 4th position. Up they go again, one last challenge, and we'll just wait and see how it goes through there. Great Britain in 4th. It's looking like Slovenia and France. Slovenia get the gold medal, and Pitstop Chop punches the air. France, Estonia, and Great Britain squeezed out in the last 100 metres to 4th position. The Great Britain crew will be disappointed with that, but on reflection again, they know how tough this event is. You know, they'll know they're in with a shot of a medal at least.
Oh, certainly in with a shot with a medal. They were bronze medalists last year. This will be disappointing for them because they were hoping to step up another pace. They've beaten Slovenia, they've beaten France in the World Cups. So here they slightly underperformed from their point of view.
Estonia hold on for the bronze medal. Really disappointing. Great Britain squeezed into the 4th. They will be bitterly disappointed. And Slovenia brave to the last. It's gold again for them. They're back on the top of the pile.
So another 4th to talk about.
Yes, it's getting a bit too much the same, isn't it, really? That the overall picture, you've got to say that all these boats are in contenders for medals next year at the Olympics, but the boys are going to be disappointed with the 4th place. Being on the podium last year, they would be hoping to becoming stronger and moving up the podium in some ways, but it's all very tight. They're all very close.
Well, talking about them being disappointed, they're just over here at the moment. Guys, do come in. I can just tell by looking at your face that disappointment is the word. How did you see the race?
I don't think we had a particularly terrible start. We just didn't really get out with the pack, and in the end we had the second quickest second 500 and the quickest third 500. So our middle 1,000 metres was the quickest out of everyone. And you know, coming into the final 500 metres, looking across, I really thought that there was a chance to win the gold medal, and I guess I really went for it, and in the end went for it a bit too hard, and it didn't pay off in the kind of final 200 metres.
For people watching who are not rowing buffs, when you say you went for it too hard, does that mean that the rhythm of the boat was out of sync?
No, well, not really. I think we would always, we sprint at the start, so we go for a very high pace, and we come down into it for 1,000, and then you sprint it at the end, and we didn't really kind of make steps. We just the rate just jumped massively. You know, it was 2 or 3 strokes per minute that we jumped up, whereas you would have liked to see 1 or 2, and just meant that both of us were just working a bit too hard and just tired ourselves out really. So we didn't really have it at that final jump at the end.
How was the last 500 for you?
I think Steve's really summed it up really well. I mean, we're really bitterly disappointed with our performance, but you know, I think it was we rode our race and went for the gold, and you know, that's the way we were going to do it if we were going to do it. And I think unfortunately today wasn't the day, and we're coming away with 4th place.
How do you assess the summer as a whole?
I think we can still look at it as a positive. I mean, you know, 2 silvers and a gold at the World Cups, and then 4th place here. I mean, we're definitely in the hunt for the gold next year. We've just got 11 months of training, hard training, even harder training than we've already done. So no, some bits of that I won't look forward to.
Well, well done, but bad luck at the same time, isn't it? It's one of those odd situations. I mean, 4th is one of those, like, what is 4th? Is 4th nowhere?
Yeah, I think second would have been still a disappointment for us today, and it's a bit difficult because last year, you know, realistically we raced for 3rd place and we got it, and today we raced for gold and got 4th, and that's the margins of error in sport, I guess. And you know, 4th is the worst place and to finish in the world, and second's probably the second worst because you should have got the gold. But there you go. You know, I don't think we should put too much, you know, make it too happy a moment that we came 4th. I think, you know, we are really disappointed, and we know we've got to do better next year. But again, it's going to spur us on now. We've got, as Matt said, 11 months to get it right in Beijing, and you know, we will be working every single day for that gold medal again.
Well, we showed you the men's singles sculls earlier on, and we saw Mahe Drysdale win the world title for the 3rd year in a row. Britain's Alan Campbell came in 4th. And we mentioned earlier to Steve that it's the worst position of all. Is that how you feel?
No, actually I'm really proud of what I did today. I'm not disappointed. I gave it my best shot. They were just quicker on the day. I mean, just looking at the standard of the field, there was, you know, it was quite tight racing, so it was, and I'm really proud. And you know, I was 6th last year, I'm 4th this year. I'm only going to get quicker, I'm only going to get faster. I had 2 years in the boat. I have 1 more year now coming up to the Olympics. I said I was aiming for a medal. I would have liked to come away with it, but I'm not disappointed or ashamed. I really gave it my all today, Sam, and I'm really, you know, I'm proud of myself. Bill's proud, and you know, and I definitely hold my head high today.
You were leading after 500.
Yeah.
Were you aware of that at the time?
No, I wasn't actually. I think, I mean, the idea was to go out and try and sort of hold on to the pace of Mahe and Olaf. I thought they were going to be sort of the main threats, possibly Marcel as well, but he didn't really show today. But just whenever sort of coming into that second 500, Olaf put in just an amazing second 500. I just realised I wasn't going to be able to hold on to that sort of pace, and I had to sort of, you know, stick to my guns and stick to my race plan and stick to my own sort of pace. And I mean, I think I paced it reasonably well, but just not enough just at the end there, just to sort of claw it back in.
An immediate reaction on crossing the line?
Pain, lots of pain. I mean, it just, every part of your body just hurts and hurts, and basically I was just thinking next year, you know, it's like, I just, you know, don't want that to happen again. I just want to make sure I'm in a better position. And again, like, you know, I've got another year. I've had 2 years, so it's just, you know, I've had a good run so far, and you know, we just have to try and find that little bit extra now for the Olympics. But I'm still very positive, and you know, really looking towards the future now.
Well, I know you're going off on a nice exotic holiday, so enjoy that.
I will do.
And then just 11 months of really hard work until.
Oh
Beijing.
yeah, thanks.
Alan, well done. Thanks
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Well, from the men's single sculls, we're going to move now to the adaptive rowing. Adaptive rowing is going to be in the Paralympics in Beijing next year for the first time. 4 categories, and Tom Agger, he hopes at least, will be representing Great Britain. He's here in the World Championships. A talented rugby player in his youth. He suffered an accident which left him paralysed, but now in the last 12 months, he's become an elite performer. And his whole attitude to the sport, I suspect, sums up how all the adaptive rowers feel about it.
It's given me, you know, a huge sense of pride, a sense of independence. It's given me a lot more physical fitness back, which I kind of lost after my accident. So overall, as a, you know, as a sport, and just, you know, even recreationally, it's a fantastic sport to be involved in. I was trying to think back to what I was doing 12 months ago, and yeah, I've come quite a long way since then. So yeah, I would never imagine I'd be in this position now. So yes, it's a really exciting time.
They're under starters' orders. It's 1,000 metres. And they're off and away. Look at in lane number 3. Tom Agger just whips it up. But Dominic Moneypenny from Australia in 4, the world champion. You'd expect nothing less for him to get out. And already almost half a boat length lead. That's just simply incredible. Being chased though by Patrick Leroux from France in lane number 6. quick starts here. You've got a tailwind, so it really is all about getting the boat up and running. But now, as we start to stretch out, we're looking at Tom Agar in lane at number 3, starting to do what he does best, apply a phenomenal amount of power.
Yeah, we can see with Tom's rig now, he's got a lot of length in the water. Up until now, we'd pretty much seen the technique for this all square blade. They've been going over at such a cadence that it was impossible to actually feather the blades. Dominic has kind of made this event his own, but I think he's going to be challenged, and certainly Tom is looking very, very smooth.
Just riding across the water there, it really is a good comparison. Just composed. Tom is absolutely composed. From the Royal Docks Rowing Club, he learned to row at the London Regatta Centre, something that is very close to your hearts, and if you're down there, you actually found this guy and brought him into the sport.
Absolutely, Gary. This guy came to us through our functional electrical stimulation assisted rowing program, where we put surface electrodes on the paralyzed leg muscles of individuals and enable them to use a sliding seat on an ergometer. It's a wonderful cross-training modality for spinally injured athletes, and Tom has certainly benefited from that. And it's only a few months ago I said to Tom, look, on a day like this, let's get you out in a boat and see if you enjoy it. And he certainly did, and he's gone from strength to strength, and he's obviously now our #1 ranked athlete. London Regatta Centre, very dear to my heart. I'm fortunate enough to head up the adaptive rowing program there, which both Tom and Martina have come through.
It's just incredible now. We're seeing Tom just moving away. And the pain now starting to show across his face here, because he knows he can't really let up. Dominic Moneypenny, Australia, on his left there, knows how to race. On his right, USA, Ronald Harvey, silver medalist from last year. At the halfway mark, Tom Agar from Great Britain now out to a half a boat length lead in this final. The men's single sculls, arms only here, 24 years of age, a fantastic find for the Paralympic British team as we look towards Beijing next year. Our sport of rowing making its first appearance at the Paralympics, and there's no finer ambassador right now than Tom Agar in this event. But now in the second half, look at Dominic Moneypenny from Australia closer. That guy does not know how to give up there. Each and every stroke has just been set at a blistering pace. But the cool, calm, relaxed Tom Agar from Great Britain out to a length. It's looking fairly in control, Simon.
Yeah, Tom's got wonderful length there. We can see in these fixed seat boat, both the trunk arms and the arms only single. We can see there's no overlap, because we only want to see overlap where we're actually using our legs to unwind that. So there's some interesting development work looking at rigs for these boats, bringing the spans in, trying to get the overall stroke up from typical 40 degrees, trying to match a sliding seat 70-degree arc. But this is done with span and with blade length and reducing the inboard.
Something 750 meters, gone 250 meters to go. Tom Agar continues to lead by a length, and impressively Eli Nawi from Israel has come through Ronald Harvey from the USA. Remember, Ronald Harvey is the silver medalist from the World Championships in 2006. So Eli Nawi now making a bid in the closing stages of this final. But there is no doubt who is impressive out front. It is from Great Britain, Tom Agar, really moving on, but Dominic Moneypenny from Australia hanging on in there.
Just wonderful to see Tom there, looking so composed, so relaxed. Looks to be sculling within himself.
Inside 100 meters, still though, here comes Eli Nawi from Israel making the attack on Dominic Moneypenny. Remember, Dominic is the world champion from last year. There's a good overlap from Israel now over Australia, and that is pushing both scullers back on Tom Agar from Great Britain. 50 meters remain in this tailwind. Tom's head goes down. It's the closing stages. Here comes Israel and Dominic Moneypenny from Australia really pushing back. It's going to be very close on the line, and Great Britain are just going to hang on for the gold medal. It's Great Britain, and it's us. 5 minutes. We'll have to wait and see between Australia and Israel there. That just shows you the high competitive spirit and the standard of this event. And wasn't that just amazing closing stages? Here we're seeing it again as we come through. We're looking at Great Britain, Australia and Israel having the confirmation on the screen.
Many, many congratulations. You must be feeling A, exhausted, and B, terrific.
Yeah, but definitely a bit of both. I mean, my aim was to get out in front and just work off the rest of them and try and stay that half a length ahead. And Dominic, the Australian, really pushed me all the way. So yeah, it was absolutely a feeling of exhilaration and exhaustion. My forearms are still burning.
Hey, listen, what was going on at the end there? Because we were watching, and I was thinking the last 30 metres, you might go from first to third.
Yeah, I know. I think I left my last push, started a little bit too early, and Dominic came through really strong towards the end, and I sort of was starting to fade, and my technique was going slightly, so I lost a little bit of boat speed. But yeah, it went to pieces a little bit. I just had enough to pull me through, I think.
And what a fantastic year you've had.
Oh, without doubt, yeah. I mean, I started getting involved with the adaptive programme sort of around January, beginning of the year, and it's been pretty full on since then. And yeah, to be here competing is pretty incredible. I mean, I never thought I'd get this far in such a short space of time, but all credit to like the GB, sort of support team and stuff like that for helping me push me through. So yeah, big thanks to them.
The first gold medal of the 2007 World Rowing Championships goes to Tom Agar in the men's single scull arms only event, and a worthy champion indeed.
Well, that really was a marvellous performance by Tom Agar, although by his own admission he was very glad it wasn't 1,010 metres long. Now on to Helene Rainsford. She's taking part in the women's single sculls.
So the final of the women's single sculls arms only is away for time. USA top of the picture in lane number 1. Ukraine in 2. Belarus in 3. Brazil in 4. Great Britain's Helene Rainsford in 5. And Poland in lane number 6. And all of these scullers going over 1,000 meters. And already we're looking at Belarus in lane number 3. Vachok having the best of the starts. And looking in lane number 5, Helene Rainsford there, really just struggling into sort of third position here. Just look along the buoy line. Remember, she is the defending champion here. And this is really just the most grueling of events. I'm alongside Simon Goody, who is on the FISA Adaptive Rowing Commission here. He's going to be guiding us through the technical side of things and your opening views on what's happening so far, Simon.
The Belarusian sculler is very new, but she has an impressive sporting background. She comes from Nordic skiing, phenomenal athlete, and it's important when federations are recruiting athletes to be elite disabled performers, to get them on the minimal disability, and this is the case with this athlete. Absolutely superb. The Brazilian sculler, also a phenomenal athlete, former Paralympic swimmer, and had the pleasure of going out to Brazil to run a workshop on behalf of FISA, which is where we identified this athlete and said all you've got to do is get her in a boat and start moving. Well, that was only back in February, so Brazil have done very well.
Looking at Helene Rainsford there from Great Britain in lane at number 5, struggling what has been a very, very quick pace by Belarus in 3, Vachok in 3, and Claudia Santos from Brazil in lane at number 4. Simon, just thinking about Helene's progress through to the final here. She's suffering really from that early asthma attack that she had in the opening rounds.
Yes, I spoke to her coach briefly, and it seemed as though they had that managed. We know if Helene will want to win this, no question. She'll want nothing less than the gold medal. But if she completes this, then she's qualified the boat for Paralympics.
2 goals there for Great Britain's Helene Rainsford in lane at number 5. Remind you of the lane order: USA in 1, Ukraine in 2, Belarus the race leader. There she is, Vachok in lane at number 3. Alongside her, sitting in 2nd place, Claudia Santos from Brazil. Britain in 5, and Snopek from Poland in 6. coming up to the halfway mark. It's 500 meters down, 500 to go, and it's final of the women's single sculls arms only. It's a fantastic start, really, from Vachok from Brazil, right from the off. She's taken this race by the scruff of its neck, and Great Britain's Helene Rainsford in lane number 5 at the moment, just moving between 5th and 4th position. Looking at Claudia Santos there from Brazil. And Simon, a little bit about the boats here that the athletes are using.
Okay, these boats are FISA standard boats. These boats will be supplied by FISA to competing federations in the Paralympics. It's Paralympic class boats. We can look at some attention to detail. They have supplementary flotation floats which help with lateral stability of the boats. Most of these athletes in this class will require some sort of postural support seating. And you'll see they have an abdomen strap which is obligatory. It's placed at or around the diaphragm, immediately below the nipple level. This is to enhance function and to negate function. We can see here we have athletes with a little bit more trunk function than others. We only have 3 classes, so that was instrumental in securing the sport its Paralympic status. So the strapping is there to assist or negate trunk function.
So they're coming now towards the last 250 meters of this final of the women's single scull arms only, and right from the off it has been an incredible race from Vachok from Belarus in lane at number 3, Claudia Santos from Brazil in lane at number 4, and without doubt Claudia is pegging her way back stroke for stroke. She's closing down on the gap. At one point Belarusian sculler had about a length, and look at the sheer determination from Claudia Santos from Brazil in lane at number 4. Inside 175 meters, and we're looking at Helene Rainsford from Great Britain, lane number 5. The defending champion in this event really hasn't got into this final at all, struggling out the back here, and the distance has opened up between the Belarusian sculler and Claudia Santos from Brazil is just simply incredible. And now the Brazilian sculler has gone through, and she's almost willing herself. You can see her just talking to herself and willing herself now to drive on. It's stroke for stroke. They're inside 100 meters in the final of the women's single sculls arms only. And really now Vachok from Belarus is struggling because the pace has been set by Claudia Santos from Brazil up to the line. It is an incredible display here of adaptive rowing in this event. What a way to win the final. And Claudia Santos from Brazil over the line now, followed shortly by Vachok from Belarus there. And look at the sheer class of this particular event as Poland now comes up, and Snopek from Poland goes over the line to get the bronze medal. Now coming up to the line, racing for that 4th position, we're looking at Helene Rainsford. We'll have to see where she gets. She gets 5th position. Ukraine get the 4th place. So disappointment there for Helene Rainsford. 5th this time. It was 1st last year. But Brazil, Claudia Santos, an incredible display.
Just one more race to show you now. That's the mixed adaptive coxed 4s. And Gary and Simon Goody are your commentary team once again.
And they're away. A lane order. Italy up the top there in lane number 1. Canada in 2. Great Britain, the defending champions, in lane number 3. Germany in 4. USA in 5. And closest to us in the orange strip, Netherlands in the lane number 6. And Great Britain are the defending champions in this event. They did it in style. They did it convincingly last year. The standard is increasing again as we get ever so closer to the Olympic Games. They really are going to be pushed in this final. Simon, looking across here, where's the competition going to come from?
Main competition this year, we think it's going to come from Germany. Germany have done a great job here. Up until this year, Germany have had athletes with intellectual disability, and they are actually excluded from the Paralympics now. So they've had to find other performance pathway to go down. So Germany completely rebuilt, and Christian Lurch, their coach, has done a great job here.
going down through the boats of all of these. Some of the athletes on here will have goggles on. Just give us an explanation of the classification in this particular event.
Okay, this boat really sold well to IPC. It's a mixed gender boat, so 2 male, 2 female athletes. The visually impaired athletes will be a B1, B2, B3, which reflects on the International Blind Sports guidelines in terms of the degree of sight loss. They wear zero vision masks, which are a mask which totally eliminates any light, so the athlete can't see at all, to put it on an even playing field. Only 2 visually impaired athletes in this boat is permissible. Then we'll have athletes with physical disabilities. It's a minimal disability boat. All the athletes in GB are in mainstream clubs, and if my math is right, we've got something like 10 gold medals in that boat.
Well, they're going to have to use all the experience. They're in lane at number 3, and they are currently in 3rd position. The defending champions now have to pull something out of the next 250 meters if they're going to start to contend for the gold medal. Down the boat, Naomi Ritchie's, Alistair McKean, Alan Crowther, Vicky Hansford, coxed by the very, very experienced Alan Woody Sherman, who's been on the tideway of the Thames for years now. And if there's one man that can really get this boat up and running and really at its top speed, it is him. Alan Sherwood now really having to dig deep to get the crew up and moving. 250 meters remain in this final of the legs, trunks and arms mixed cox 4 here, and everybody are on their feet. The German crowd are just roaring them home here. The British crew starting to move back, but have they left it too late? Again, Alan Sharman just really asking a little bit more from the crew. Naomi Ritchie's in the stroke seat, just pushes up the rate again. Canada going strong over there alongside them, and Italy up in lane at number 1. But out front, it is Germany. 125 meters remain. The race is on for the silver medal. The race may still be on for the gold medal, because the British crew, every stroke they take is a stroke closer to rowing the Germans down. Great Britain in silver medal position. At the moment, Canada in bronze. Germany holding on to get the gold medal, and it is Germany on the line by half a length. Great Britain and then Canada coming through, and what a fantastic sprint line as the arms go out of the boat for Germany, the heads go down in the boat for Great Britain, and elation for Canada getting the bronze medal. While Simon has sprint races go, that was just an incredible last drive in the last 200 meters.
Yeah, that was just awesome, and GB will be disappointed. Okay, they've qualified their boat, they've medalled, but they set themselves a goal. They've made this again. This event they've made their own, and it's their first defeat.
But it's a tribute really to the standard, the improvements and the competition. There it is, Germany, surprise winners today. There was talk about it. Well, they've done it. Great Britain pushed back into silver medal position, and Canada gets the bronze.
So we come to the end of the first day of the World Rowing Finals here in Munich, and as far as the Olympic classes were concerned, well, we had 5 realistic medal prospects, but only ended up with 2, both of them bronze. And the main news is that the coxless 4, previously Britain's supreme team, failed to win a medal at all, finishing in 4th place. They're in lane 4 here, as you can see, the closing stages. And Steve Redgrave's still with us, and also Jürgen Grobler, the head coach of the British rowing team. And Steve, just first thoughts from you as we see the closing stages of the coxless 4 race. Where do you think it went wrong today?
Really, sort of watching the semi-final 2 days ago, that there was a lot of doubt came in a lot of people's minds after that performance and the performance of the other boats. But in today's race, I thought in most of their other races, they go off to a very good start. They have not a comfortable lead, but a commanding lead after the first 500, and they didn't really get that today. They were in front, but not by as much, and the whole field had tightened up so much around them that I think that's obviously when it sort of felt that it was not going to be their day, but certainly didn't expect them to not be in the medals and coming down to 4th.
Jürgen, as the crew that everybody looks up to so much, inevitably there's going to be a lot of wailing of teeth in the newspapers tomorrow and a lot of inquests about what went wrong. Is it perhaps easy, do you think, to overstate the fact that they finished fourth here, or do you detect a need for change even at this stage?
I think, of course, we are not happy about the result. We came here to win, no question. I must say, of course, as a result, we definitely didn't expect. We tried and go out today to win the race. I must say, overall, as a outstanding World Championships, a very, very high level of racing. And I think maybe in our final preparation, also mental preparation, maybe we missed out the trick there to be prepared mentally even more how hard it will be to defend our gold medal. And especially after we had a good season, the season was good, was brilliant, we had good racing. I think, and so far, yeah, we have to look in that area as well. But to say that's the end of the Coxed 4 or British rowing, I'm sure it's a year before the Olympics, and I see it as a team, as a heavyweight men's team. We qualified out of 5 crews for the big final. So I think that is a big move compared to all other nations. But maybe the critical point for me as a chief coach, maybe looking to the quantity, maybe miss out sometimes also a little bit sharper looking to the quality and training and everything we are doing. So, okay, we have to look now very sharp, and I'm sure that can be repaired. We've been through a situation like that. And if you remember, the New Zealanders rode last year in the small final and had a big comeback. So I think sport is like that.
Sport is about ups and downs, isn't it? But of course 4 years ago, a Big Dan, Cracknell and Pinson couldn't possibly lose, and they lost, but yet you rebuilt teams around them to ensure that you won gold medals in Athens. Are we in a similar situation here? Do you think over the winter are you going to have to sit down and think very carefully about the makeup of the crews?
No, of course that will be always. Yes, now we have all the crews qualified. Under nobody's seat is a name already, and we have to look where we have set the priorities. Can we do the whole team, or okay? Of course, the key thing is to win good medals for a GB team, and I think so we have to look sharp, and it's up to everybody, but that means as well everybody has a chance. We are on a good way, and if you look to the number 4, how you write a number 4, if we take the square out, can be quite easily a 1.
That is a supreme piece of positive thinking. Thank you very much for talking to us, Jürgen. We may talk tomorrow as well. Steve, thanks very much. We're back tomorrow here, and it's a busy old day of sport as well, because you can sit in front of the television all afternoon and watch not just the rowing, but also motorbikes, triathlon, and the 3-day eventing from Burley. So we will see you tomorrow. It's kind of half time here in Munich, but it's well into the second half back home.